identification, is the boy next door who's an African boy. We were both about 2 years old, and I remember having very involved conversations with him. And, you know, I think I'd learned the words for tractor and poo by that age, you know, in my own language, and he didn't speak a word of English or probably his own language. And my memory has it that we were discussing the effects of Nigerian independence on the Yoruba people, you know. My mother says you were sort of babbling at each other. So I remember smells. I remember images of light and my father driving to work and the pets we had, and it does come back.
What comes across when one reads about that background is the sense of you being the outsider, of standing outside the society that you're in, because you are that. I mean, you're detached from it. You're moved around all the time. Would you agree with that description to start with?
Yes.
And would you say that's a good position to be as an actor?
Yes.
Yeah.
I probably found it difficult as a schoolboy once or twice, but I've never regretted feeling slightly outside things. I think that, you know, I know that I'm very much of this country, and I think paradoxically I'm considered to be a consummate representative of a certain type of Englishman, which I don't feel myself to be. And so I think you see everything with two pairs of eyes, really, if you've moved about a lot. You see things from an indigenous point of view, and you see things from a visitor's point of view.
And what about acting? There's none of that in your family. I mean, where did that come from?
I don't know. There was a question that was, I think, besieging my parents as I left school and went about this business. Where could it possibly have come from? I think we're very confused people. Actors. I think you have to, that's the first prerequisite. I think you have to be very confused.
And about what? About everything?
Everything, yeah. I think you have to have a bit of an identity crisis going on, and that has to last for quite a long time. You have to cultivate that, you know. And then you also have to have an incredible desire for attention. So you have to be a confused person who wants attention. And then you have to have some desire to try on different identities in some way. I mean, that's actually quite a strange cocktail.
It is.
And if you're not going to be an actor, you probably need help. You know?
So it's cheaper than the psychiatry, is it?
Absolutely. Yeah. They paid me. And so it was an alternative to hospitalization.
And they were, I mean, going away, getting lots of work and doing all sorts of stuff, and then along came Pride and Prejudice, and that just changed everything, didn't it?
Yes, I suppose it did. I didn't see it immediately. I mean, I was away at the time. I'd just met the woman who's now my wife, and I was in Italy, and we were all blissfully unaware of what was going on for a while. And I kept getting sort of bulletins from England while it was running, giving me some idea of what was happening. And after one the first person to tell me was my mother. She said, you know, telling me that, you know, I was getting lots of attention back home, and I thought, bless you, Mother, yes, of course, you know. And then I sort of got, I was, by way of proof, somebody sent me some articles and, you know, recordings of radio programs about it. And I remember going into my Italian prospective future family of in-laws and saying, I have an announcement to make, I'm a heartthrob. And when the laughter died down, there was a period of kind of bewilderment and kind of a real genuine searching about how this could be possible. And I found them sort of gazing at me. English, the English. What is it with the English? And I remember them going back to, we finally got some, you know, because I think we'd seen tapes by this point. We'd seen the first 3 episodes. And they looked at it and they said, well, this is fascinating. So, the English find this sexy. You like repression, you know. And they said, so you find John Major sexy? Prince Philip, is he? And, you know, because I was talking to people who, you know, it was all... I remember there was Joaquin Cortez had come to town, you know, flamenco. That was what they called sexy.
Yes.
And so seeing this kind of, you know, lamppost walking around was very, very confusing.
So you were surprised by it all?
Yes, but I mean, it happened so... It was a slow burn, really. I mean, because I didn't process it immediately, unfolded as a series of surprises which have lasted until today.
It's supposed to be done the nude, wasn't it, originally?
Oh, that scene, yeah.
That scene, the famous scene.
Yeah,
that scene.
it was supposed to be done in the nude, and I think it was a blessing for me and really for everybody else that we found it all changing.
Would you have done it in the nude?
Oh, probably. There wouldn't be this applause if you'd seen it.
Which begs the question, would you have been a bigger or lesser heartthrob had they done the nude? Than, no, but if you'd been bigger heartthrob...
Oh, no, lesser.
No,
keep it under wraps, I think. It's always.
But I know that this comes up in... I suppose you regard it as a kind of just something you have to talk about and think about. But it did affect your career, didn't it? I mean, in the sense that it lifted you to a different degree of recognition.
It's yes, I mean, it certainly must have done. I mean, it's hard to evaluate how that happened or to measure, because you can't go through your life measuring the effects of one incident, 12 years ago, and so or considering what might have happened had that not happened.
Yes.
So I really don't know. I mean, I thought I was doing really well until that happened. And then when it happened, I was, it was as if I'd been nowhere up to that point. So I don't know. And now it's something. It's like a secondary. It's a name. It's like one of those school nicknames you can't shake off.
I read that you thought of changing your name.
Oh, just recently. Well, I did. I thought perhaps if I'm going to be called Mr. Darcy all the time, I might as well just change my name to Mr. Darcy. And then people can finally say, no, you're not Mr. Darcy. Which would be a first.
Now, this film of yours comes out next week, and as I said, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a very, very powerful film, and I hope it will do very well. But you've got so many other things lined up, haven't you? You've done the St. Trinian's movie.
Yes.
And you're just back from Greece, where you're doing Mamma Mia.
Yes.
Yes. You're singing Mamma Mia?
Yes. Singing's a big word. There's a multitude of sins. No, I'm entrusted with a song which, mercifully, is not the Family Silver. It's not a great. It's an album track which was never a single. It was called Our Last Summer, and so I'm not on sacred ground in the way that someone had given me Dancing Queen, which part of me would love to. But it's been a very odd year from that point of view, because the farcical territory of St. Trinian's, where I'm being humped by a small dog called Mr. Darcy. And culminating in a wild love scene with a transvestite group at Everett. And,
your favourite man?
Indeed. And then straight into spandex and lycra.
And a great cast, Glenn Close and
it's Meryl Streep, Pierce Brosnan, Stellan Skarsgård.
Lovely. Well, all the best with when you last see your father. I said I enjoyed it immensely, and I'm sure the public will also. Colin Firth, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.